At 47 years old, Madeleine West is once again knee-deep in the crazy world of early parenting following the birth of her 7th child. Between sleepless nights and nappy changes, Madeleine's also asking how she can keep her newborn safe in a world where abuse and exploitation are sadly on the rise. Now, in partnership with the Federal Police, she's produced It's Never Too Early, a guidebook for parents to help keep their kids safe. And Madeleine is here to tell us more. Madeleine, before we get into this really important guide, I just have to say a huge congratulations, because you've just had your 7th baby at 47. The baby is 6 weeks old. When I had a 6-week-old, I was in such a broken mess at home, and you are here. How are you going?
It's all smoke and mirrors. I am just a smashed vase that someone's wrapped up with gaffer tape. Don't put any flowers or water in me because it's all just going to leak out. But it's going, it's going. I'm on autopilot right now. I'm deep in the delirium. At 3 a.m. I got up to have a glass of water and instead decided it was a really good time to scrub out the fish tank and bake a cake, which is what I did.
Hashtag mum life.
Now, this guide you're releasing is basically a how-to guide for keeping kids safe. What kind of stuff is in the guide?
This is so personal for me because it's things that I think most parents would never have considered. Asking yourself really simple but ultimately really important questions like, who will I allow to change my baby's nappy? If I'm letting someone babysit my child, who else will have access to that child? Perfect example being, if you let a good friend babysit the baby, they happen to be dating someone that you don't know very well. If he comes over to visit and they get up to answer the phone, am I comfortable with that person having unsupervised time with my child? If I'm looking at babysitting, will there be other children in the household who will have access to my child? If I'm going down the route of looking at daycare centres, how can I find one that has been government endorsed, where everyone has been completely certified so I know that my child is safe? Questions that when we're in the thick of early parenting and we're exhausted and on the cusp of delirium, it's really hard to exercise common sense. It's hard to know what day of the week it is, let alone making really important decisions about how to best secure our child's safety.
You're at child number 7 now. Do you think you knew a lot of this when you were at child number 1, or have you learnt a lot of this over the years?
Absolutely had. I think I've learnt through experience as a victim of childhood sexual abuse myself. I still laboured under the misapprehension that these crimes don't happen, or if they do, they happen somewhere far, far away. The reality is that they're happening here in Australia, in every town, every school, every street, sometimes under our own roofs. So we need to be able to ask ourselves these questions. And I know that I thought I had a handle on the pitter, patter, clatter, splatter of parenthood. I've been at it for 20 years now, but realistically, there's so much I did not stop to consider. And it's only now with experience and time that I can look back and reflect and say, I wish I had a resource like this in my hands 20 years ago.
Yeah, we teach our kids so much about stranger danger, but not about the people who are actually around them, people who know them. It's become, for example, a bit of a debate amongst my parent friends about sleepovers. Would you let your kids go on a sleepover?
Well, the age cutoff I've always designated is 11, that they can start having sleepovers at 11. Before that, they're welcome to have friends under our roof, but 11 is the cutoff. And the reason behind that is from the age of 10, kids start to understand more about their bodies and having autonomy over their bodies and autonomy over their experience. And they're best able to communicate when something doesn't feel right. And it's at the age where we can have really what on surface are uncomfortable, awkward conversations with our kids about taking ownership of their body, that's your private parts. If something makes you feel uncomfortable, and it's really important at that age to actually listen to them. They will say, I don't want to hug Aunt Rosie. I don't want to sit on Uncle Jimmy's lap. When a child says something like that, listen. We live in an era where we're not very good at listening when our kids say no. We have a tendency to say, you've got nothing to be scared of. There's no monster under the bed. You will sit on Uncle Jimmy's lap. Whereas if they tell us no, we see it as an affront to our parenting. Being able to say no is a learned behaviour. So we need to help our kids to learn how to say no, and that means that we need to listen when they say no.
It's Never Too Early will be available online tomorrow. For more details, head to our website. And if this story has raised any issues for you, support is available on 1800-RESPECT. That's 1800-737-732. Madeleine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, guys. This means so much for me. As I've said before, launching this resource is very, very personal for me. And as I said earlier, it's never too early to do everything we can to keep our kids safe.